Whether you're buying or selling your home, get the benefit of expertise.
Hey, well, compliments to the show. You're really hitting on the subjects and you're telling the truth. I appreciate you.
Meet the team at dangemus.com. And now, filling in for Dan Gemus, your host, Joyce Blackmere.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I can't believe the number of entries that we're getting for the Richmond Popcorn gift card. We will be giving that away in the next segment. So if you would like to be eligible, text the keyword salty with your first and last name to 10800, and we'll be giving away $50 in just a little bit. But we have, right now, we have Christian Janisse from SimplyClose Law on the line to give us a legal tip. Hi, Christian. How are you?
Hey, Joyce. How's it going?
Awesome. Awesome. Are you a football fan, Christian?
No. Is it about the Lions?
Oh, so 0 for 3 here today.
Okay. We're trying. We're trying to really rally the excitement for the Lions tonight. I'm excited for them. Don't get me wrong. I am.
Oh, there you go. You're right. I am excited for them, and I'm excited for their fans.
I'm excited for Detroit sports. Yes.
I'm excited for them. I just don't follow closely.
Yeah, same with us.
There's just not enough time. There's too many games. It's too time consuming.
Well,
but I know a lot of people
but
that are
tailgate
big
party food is good.
That's true.
There's a lot of positives.
That's true.
Definitely.
Food is
It's always a fun time. I've been to a game before, many times,
Yeah.
but it's just not something I can watch frequently.
Gotcha. Well, what can you share with us today?
Okay, so right now I see a lot of condos popping up all across Windsor, Essex County, and I actually have a handful that are closing next week. And as I review some of these documents with the clients, a lot of them are shocked to find out about the occupancy fees and how the new build contracts work. So I wanted to quickly go over, because I know there's probably going to be a lot more condo sales in the future. That just seems to be where things are going. What to expect when you're buying a new build condo, and this only applies to new build condos, and what you should look out for. So the first thing is that whenever you buy a condo and it's brand new, there's this thing called an interim occupancy or interim closing. So that's the date that the condominium is, or your unit, not the entire condo building, but your unit is ready to be occupied. It can be lived in, but you don't actually own it. And the Condominium Act governs what charges the builder's allowed to pass on to you, but they do pass on the interest on the unpaid purchase price. And the interest rate is dictated by law, but it can be quite expensive. So I have some that are closing, and it's as high as they've paid an extra $13,000 before they even own the property. So a lot of people buy these speculating that it's going to be a great investment, but they don't factor those fees in. So that's the first thing, is just know what your occupancy date might be, or just know how to plan for it, because it's not going to be, if you buy the unit for $450, you're probably not going to be spending $450 on closing. There's going to be some extra costs in between when your unit is ready to be occupied and when the entire project's done. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to just keep an eye out in the agreement for any additional costs. A lot of people look at the agreement and say, okay, I'm buying it for $450. This is, these are all the features that I'm getting. And usually these contracts are very long. So obviously my recommendation is to have a lawyer look at it first. Mm-hmm. But in the fine print, and it's not even that fine, it's just buried within the hundreds of pages, it says that the builder can pass on certain costs to you. So that could be as low as a security deposit for $300, or it could be as high as over $1,000 for just covering the carry-on new build or registration costs. And some of these fees can add up quite a bit once you start to, keep adding them as you go down. It could be as high as an extra $5,000 to $10,000. So there's not much wiggle room on those, but I do want people to be aware of them before they buy these condos, and plan for them, because the closings come up quick and then they're surprised, and they're frustrated in some cases, and it is what they agreed to.
Yeah. Have you run into circumstances where they're unable to close because they weren't aware of these additional costs? Does that happen often?
Not necessarily because of these additional costs, but with the new builds, they kind of sit idle for over a year, and then they come out of nowhere and say, okay, we're ready to close. They try to give you as much notice as possible, but it's just the nature of how these things work is it's pretty quick. So a lot of people may have been able to qualify a year ago for financing, but now a year later, their whole situation has changed, right? Maybe their job has changed. Anything could happen, and they're not able to close. I do see that a little bit more often than I think I should.
More often than like just a stable market. I know like a lot of these purchases were done when the market was like at an all-time high, and the closings are, you know, coming up now or you know, over the past year or so. And so are you seeing it just more now as opposed to pre-craziness?
Yeah, because they bought these when the market was high and the interest rates were low. Like some of these contracts were signed in 2021. So now everything's changed, but they don't hold the interest rate. Some lenders will, but they don't always hold the interest rate. And even if the lenders do hold it, it's only usually good for a certain amount of time. So if this much time goes by, it's not guaranteed that rate's going to be held. So now everything's changed, right? What they thought they were originally going to buy with a 5-year interest rate of, say, 2.2% or something, it's now 5.4 or whatever the rates are now, right? So a lot of people speculate on these new builds too. They buy them thinking, okay, I'm going to buy it now and it's not going to be built for 2 years and the prices are going to go way up. And obviously the prices have kind of stabilized, and that's factored into the price when you buy it originally too. Yeah,
for sure. Interesting. And to the fact that you brought up having a lawyer have a look at the new construction agreement is really, really important, because the new builders agreements are very, very different than the agreement of purchase and sale that we would typically use as realtors on a residential resale property. So there are a lot of additional clauses, and there are a lot of different things to take into consideration, like Christian said, with additional fees and who knows what that we might not see. So your recommendation, Christian, is to have a conditional period for the lawyer to review, or maybe to review it prior to even offering?
Yeah, you could have a conditional period. There is like a 10-day cooling off period for new build condos, so you have 10 days to get it sorted out. But a lot of people don't reach out to the lawyer after, because they go, okay, well, it's not going to be built for a while. 100% have any, not even just condos, but any new build contract. It's not the standard form, like you said. And I remember reviewing one with Dan like a couple of years ago, and this was during COVID when the prices of materials were going up, and the builder put in there that this is the price, but if the price of materials goes up by like X percent, anything over that percent increase is on the buyer. So
oh, wow.
Theoretically, you don't even know what you're buying for, like how much it's going to be at the end, because if the prices are to go up, the buyer would have been on the hook. I don't know what happened with that deal, but yeah, they're totally different, and there's a lot of pages and a lot of conditions in there that people don't necessarily think about until after.
Yeah, and none of the builders' agreements or schedules are necessarily the same either. So it's good to have that extra set of eyes and expertise on hand to make sure that good decisions are being made.
Definitely.
100%. It's a lot of money too. Like with these new builds, the costs are pretty high afterwards. Like sometimes they'll pass on like a security deposit, and you'll get the money back a lot of times if it, like, for example, the driveway, but it's an extra $2,000. So if you're planning on just getting by to get into the house, and then you're hit with an extra $2,000 that you may or may not get back a year from now, it definitely hurts. You're already spending a ton of money to get into a new house.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Christian, thank you as always. If anybody has questions or they want to reach out to you because they're looking to buy or sell or otherwise, how can they reach you?
They can email us at hello@simplyclose.ca or give us a call at 519-997-3775. Enjoy the game.
Perfect. Well, perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Christian. As always, that's Christian Janisse from SimplyClose Law. We have to take another quick break. When we come back, we're giving away a $50 gift card to the Richmond Popcorn Company. So take this notice as your last chance to text the keyword salty to 10800 with your first and last name. And we're giving away $50 when we come back. Still more to come here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.